Healing, peace to the gods, peace to the earth. Y'all climb on in the building. How y'all feeling? How y'all doing? How y'all doing, family? Y'all climb on up in here. Let me check to make sure I'm live on both platforms. Yes, I am live. Y'all climb on in. Today I want to talk about the destruction of the black family and how it is psychologically and physiologically having a tormenting aspect and manifestation on our bodies, on our minds, on our spirits, and on our souls. And we have a solution on how to truly get ourselves up out of the situations that we are in. Psychological warfare is real, and our people are really going through it right now. And if y'all just checked how much the suicide rate have went up amongst black people, it will blow your mind. So, I was going to get on here and answer some questions today, but I've been working on the presentation. So I'm like, I maybe just show y'all a little bit of my presentation I've been working on. And it's talking about, the psychological annihilation of the black man and the psychological annihilation of the black woman, and how our mindsets is being targeted and how they're breaking us spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And you see the suicide rate just going higher and higher amongst our people, showing you the lack of love within the community and the lack of love within ourselves, and how we just taking ourselves out. And you start looking at the ages of these children killing themselves is very heartbreaking, y'all. Heartbreaking. We got between the ages of 6 and 14, they are taking themselves out, stabbing themselves, slashing their wrists, jumping off of buildings, killing themselves because they're getting talked about at school. They're being bullied by other racial ethnicities. I mean, it is really going down amongst the people, man. And it's time for us to really do something about it. So y'all climb on in and we're going to talk about it. And we're going to show you how, psychological health manifests itself into physical health, y'all. So, we teach and we know that the mind creates the body. So if the mind is out of balance, if the mind is, in an imbalance, and if the mind is taking on traumatic experience, then, of course, your physiological aspect take on them same characteristics as well, because what minds matters, mind is what wills matter into being. So we have to start getting more into psychology, y'all, and really diving deep back into our real culture, not this history that's been given to us. We learning his story. We're not learning her story. And her story goes all the way back to the Fertile Crescent of Africa. Whether you're an indigenous Africa in America, or you are indigenous Africa still in Africa, or whether you are indigenous Africa in Australia or the Aborigines, we still going back to that mother, and that's the true teachings. And once you dive deep back into the culture and you start seeing things that we're not implementing, that we're not practicing now, you can see why our young boys are killing themselves, why our young boys is blowing their girlfriends and their baby mothers' brains out of their head. There's been so many black on black crimes amongst the relationship inside the family structure that is mind-blowing. We're seeing a lot of unstable black men, young black men, brutally murdering the mother of their children, and I mean bluntly killing and violently murdering their wives and significant others. And once you really sit back and you look at what's going on, you got to ask yourself, what is going on psychologically that man is breaking? Did they flip a damn switch somewhere and now we all being messed up by the 5G time? You start running through all types of scenarios inside of your head. But I'm telling you right now that you're missing a piece of her story, not his story. You're missing a piece of her story, and you're missing a piece of your culture. And that's the reason why, psychological wise, we are at a disadvantage and we messed up the way we are. So if y'all ready to get this started, y'all typing some nines. If y'all ready to get this started, y'all typing some nines. We're going to get it started. Let's see where we at. Okay. So if y'all can hear me, if anybody on my Facebook page, type in some 7s for me. And if anybody is on my YouTube page, type in some 8s. And if y'all ready to get started and you can hear me real good, type in some 9s. And let's dive deep into the Hebraic African destruction, because our people have been been destroyed, y'all. On a massive level. And we are looking at it now, but we're not looking at how long it took to implement this. This been going on since the days of slavery. We never left slavery, y'all. They just shifted into new evolutionary stages of of enslavement, and we missing it because we are too busy focused on things that don't benefit us as a culture, or things that don't benefit us as a people, things that don't stimulate us mentally or intelligently, intellectually. So we are just sitting around and being destroyed from the lack of knowledge. We have to gain knowledge of self, y'all. Without that, you will not have a roadmap or a blueprint to becoming whole and even finding your purpose here on this earth, y'all. And that's the reason why you're physically sick, and that's the reason why you're mentally sick. All right. Okay. I'm glad all of y'all can hear me. So let's get this thing started. I'm going to show y'all a presentation that I've been doing. It's not completely finished yet, but I have been working on this. And, I was going to answer some questions today, but I got a few bad phone calls, and everybody's keep calling me about their sons. These are black women. I hate saying the word black, but this is, y'all identify with that. But these are black women, all around the world, calling me and telling me about how their sons is murdering themselves. Literally, y'all. Since between the last 4 months, I have gotten 6 phone calls, y'all, about children, young black boys blowing their brains out, or then drowned themselves and then done something to their significant other, y'all. It's time for us to speak out, and it's the reason why we have to create institutes, or we have to form some type of coalition in each state where you have meetings where you can go with other black children and other black men and women is having suicidal thoughts, and we can talk these things out, y'all, because it's resulting to us taking our lives, y'all. Come on, man. Come on, we have to do better as a people, and this is our responsibility, and this is a black people problem. So we have to come together collectively, put our minds together, and figure out a way to stop this suicide rate and to stop the mental health amongst black women and black men. Y'all, it's our issue. Nobody else should be dealing with this but us. Nobody know us better than we know ourselves. You see what I'm saying? All right, let me share this screen with y'all real quick. Peace to all of those that are in the building. All right, I'm sharing my screen with y'all now. Let's pull this thing on up. Let me share it. Pull this up in here. All right, let's see. All right, so this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the destruction of a family. And not only is we talking about the dismantling of the black family structure, but we're talking about the psychological health and the physiological health crisis that's amongst black males. And the reason why I'm saying males, because in order to say male, you have to say female. You see what I'm saying? And we're going to go into this, and we're going to show psychologically how we're still in the adolescence. Psychologically, we're still immature, and we haven't matured yet. And that's the reason why we're doing the things that we're doing. And these are stages and operations that were sent forth by the government, by the CIA, by the federal government, by the FBI, to plant these stages inside of our psychological lives to bring us to the adolescent states that we're in right now. And it's going to all be explained through documentation. Y'all don't have to make none of this stuff up. The reason why the black man is the way he is because of white supremacy. The reason why the black woman is the way she is because of white supremacy. So if we do not destroy the narrative that white supremacy is pushing out amongst our people in our culture, and we don't dismantle what's going on in these power structures that's over us, we would never be able to be free mentally, physically, emotionally, nor spiritually, y'all. So it behooves us to really pay attention and start learning her story, not his story, but her story. All right. Now, what we're talking about is, first, I want to show y'all a video. And these are the videos that's been getting sent to me, and mothers and stuff have been calling me and texting me about things like this. So y'all check this out. Matter of fact, before we do this, let me turn, I have to turn something on for y'all to be able to hear it. Forgive me, family. Give me 1 second. Let me turn this on for y'all real quick. Where is it at? Okay, it's on now. All right, let me play this for y'all. Let me play this for y'all. Let me blow my screen back up. All right, here we go. Now listen to this, y'all. Just listen to this stuff. This is what we're going through as a people. We are not individuals. Hold on, it's not playing. See, y'all see how it mess you up now? Now it don't want to act right. Now we finna get this to act right real quick. Be patient with your brother, y'all. I want this to play perfectly. Okay, it's not muted. It's on. Let me do it like this, family. That's crazy. That's how they do it, though.
No, have somebody come get my son. He in the house with me. No. Yes. Hey, y'all, I just want to say I'm sorry. This is going to be the last day everybody hear from me, bro. This is going to be the last day y'all hear from me, bro.
If y'all can hear this well, please let me know. Type in some nines. This is a young black father and a black man, a black boyfriend, a black husband. He have a mother, he have a father. He just killed his baby mother, blew her brains out, and then she shot a police, and then he killed himself. You see what I'm saying? Don't be worried about what I spelled wrong, y'all. Listen to the message. And then he killed himself, y'all. Check this out.
I'm sorry. It's just been too much going on. Police out here. She did. Police right there. Somebody come get my son first. This not finna end well for nobody, cuz.
And y'all, hundreds of cases like this is going on right now. It's like an experimental.
Ain't nothing finna justify my actions, bro. I've been dealing with a lot. I just need somebody to get my son. Sorry, y'all. I'm just ready to die, bro.
See that he just ready to die.
I'm already shooting at the police and shit and everything, bro.
He done shot at the police. He done killed his baby mother. Now he's ready to die. Mind you, his son is in the house a couple of feet away from him, and you can hear his son in the background, y'all. This is very, very heartbreaking. And this is not the only one. It's hundreds of cases like these. A lot of them they're not putting on the internet. A lot of them they're not covering in the news media because they simply just don't care. You know, this play a part of their agenda. This is the psychological training. You know, we're being trained to do this through MK Ultra, through radio, television, through the rap music, through hip hop, through all these different things that have been systemically programmed within our environment. It is causing us to do psychological things just like this, y'all. Harming the mother, harming the way we come through the portal, not protecting the black woman, murdering the black woman, and then murdering ourselves as an end result, y'all. This is a psychological illness. This is a real health issue that's going on amongst the black community, and we have to come together as a collective consciousness and as a collective African whole to truly heal our wounds, y'all. Whether we talk about psychologically or physiologically, y'all, we have to come together and we have to heal. Peep this stuff, y'all. This is some real deep stuff, man.
It's over with. It's over with. It's over with. That's a whole body right there, bro.
That's a whole body right there.
I'm not the right person, bro. Me mentally, like, I've been through too much. Just come get my son first.
We're just gonna play a little bit more of it, then we're gonna move on.
Yeah, cause y'all finna have to kill me, bro. Cause I'm gonna shoot at y'all, so y'all might as well finish. I'm not finna shoot right now. Come get my son first.
Man, it's hurt. This is heartbreaking, y'all.
Matter of fact, just wait until his parents come. Y'all finna have to kill me. I'm not killing myself, bro. Cause I'm ready to go.
And that just shows you, you know, what's really going on amongst the community in our neighborhoods. You know, we really need to start coming together collectively and creating programs. And I believe in prayer too. Israelite blood. Praying is very powerful. Affirmations is powerful. But, you know, faith without works is super dead. In fact, it's dead as a doorknob. So, you know, we can come together and we can collectively pray all we want. If we're not implementing programs and we're showing actions and works behind the prayers and behind the planning and behind the programs, our community and our culture will continue to deteriorate the way it is as we looking at it right now. So, you know, I believe in spirituality. I believe in, you know, praying collectively. I believe in invoking the spirit of Yahweh. I believe in all of that. But without any actions and plans being implemented, you know, your prayers are dead. They're dead as a doorknob. So, you know, I think we need to come together holistically and heal holistically, family, like for real. Now, let's get back to the presentation, and then we just gonna go through this stuff, and I want to show show y'all how the CIA, how the government, and how the FBI straight implemented these things into our lives, our lifestyles, to decripple us as a family. They knew that they had to separate the man from the woman and the woman from the man. And if you break up a black family structure, you break up their culture, because when we come together as male and female, when we come together as Y chromosome, YX chromosome, and X chromosome, it literally strengthens this cosmic ancestral line of information where you can take our history, you can take her story, you can take our artifacts, you can take anything you want to take away from us. But when we come together and we unify as a collective, something happens within our DNA, something happens within our melanin neurotransmitters, where we start remembering things inside of us that used to exist outside of us. And they know this, and it's words for this. There's actually scientific words that explain in what I'm talking about. I know it sounds taboo. I know this shit sounds spiritual. I know it sounds, supernatural, and I know it sounds pseudo. But when I tell you that it's words that they have used to explain what I'm talking about right now. And we're going to go through this stuff and it will blow your mind. And it's why it's imperative that we come together, put aside all the bullshit, especially the religious bullshit, and come together as a collective whole and really, really heal ourselves, y'all. All right, now check this out. It gets deep. It gets real deep. It gets real deep. Let me show you what they doing to us. What they've been doing to us for a long time. All right. Now, we just looked at that video, right? Now, check this out. So this is another one right here.
I peeked in the window again, and then I saw the second girl in there, and I was, trying to calm them down.
The two little girls neighbor Michael Eisenberg says he found inside a running BMW after Saturday's apparent murder-suicide on Edenbrook Drive in Columbia are, according to online court records, at the center of a contentious years-long custody battle between the murder suspect, Ray J.
Now we have another murder suspect. This is another brother right here who killed his wife, killed his current girlfriend, and then killed himself. Look, it's hundreds of cases, y'all. What is really going on? What is happening to the health, the mental health, the physical health of the black man? What is happening?
Black and the murder victim, his wife, Wendy Black.
I think a lot of things like this tend to happen when they're domestic for the most of the time, So I tend not to be too worried. It is very frightening.
Online records in Howard County Circuit Court show a hearing in the custody case slated for next month, and nearly 4 years of accusations lodged across dozens and dozens of filings. Mr. Black accusing his ex-wife of trying to hit him with her car and hiding her address and therefore the children. But
we think that this stuff is cute. These toxic traits right here, trying to run each other over with people, cars, beating, choking people out, literally being on social media and bragging about how toxic we is. And now you see that these things actually end to destruction, and it ends in death. There's nothing good and there's nothing funny and there's nothing to celebrate about us claiming to be mentally toxic and arguing, bickering, going back and forth, swinging on each other in front of our children, degrading the black woman, degrading the black man. There is nothing positive about this. If we come through life to evolve, and if we come here on this earth to learn something and to bring this information back to the collective God whole as a whole, back to the Elohim, the Elohim, how is us, bringing each other down, beating each other down, killing one another, degrading one another, and then teaching our youth to do so? How is that adding to the progression of the evolutionary biological history of the black man and black woman? It's not. It's actually deteriorating our entire culture. And we have people on social media day in and day out talking about, I'm toxic. And it's funny. Y'all even got emojis from it now. Negroes making songs about it, how to be toxic, and don't know the power of your words and how you are literally changing the biochemical molecular structure of every cell in your body to fit that resonant frequency of you talking about you live a life of toxicity. How toxic you is, how you love toxic women, how you love toxic gangster killers and drug dealers and men. And then you are having visions of you having babies or by these same gangsters, by these same gangbangers, by these same dope dealers, by these same jailbirds. And then you wonder why this toxic cycle continue. because we are missing things in our culture. One thing we're missing in our culture is something called the rites of passage. We don't even know about a rites of passage anymore. You ask your average black man what a rites of passage is. He don't know. He think it's talking about writing in a notebook. Somebody straight told me a rites of passage is writing something in a notebook. This is how far that we have failed from her story. Not his story, but her story. This is how far we done fell from the Fertile Crescent of Africa. Whether you a Hebrew in Africa, whether you a Kemet in Africa, whether you an African that came over here to the Americas before Christopher Columbus line ass found America, and you calling yourself indigenous Indian, whatever you want to call yourself. The first civilization of the mitochondria Eve gene started in the Fertile Crescent of Africa. And when you travel back that far, you're going to start uncovering a lot of ancient history, her story, artifacts. And then when you read through this literature, it's things that is psychologically put in place to actually help you in mental development that we are missing. And this is why we're still acting as adolescents, and why we are immature, and why we're sick. And this is why you have things like this going on right now. Straight up. And we have to fix it, family. We have to fix these things. Let's keep it going, though, because this stuff get deeper, y'all. It really do. Like, if you see what's really happening on a worldwide scale, man, I mean, it's like, man, they plan worked so good. We have been hoodwinked. We have been bamboozled, y'all. We have been hoodwinked and we have been bamboozled. Now, check this out. It says, no warning that this was on their agenda. Black male suicide deaths are rising faster than any other racial groups, y'all. And then it talks about the actress Regina King and how her son took her life. So many black boys, so many black men, so many black males are killing themselves. They feel like they have nothing else in the world to actually keep them whole, that the last thing that they can only think about is murdering themselves and taking their life. Do y'all know how man, that hurts me as a black man. Like, you feel like that you have no hope left. You have nothing left. You don't have no OGs to talk to. You don't have no elders to talk to. You don't have a mother that you feel comfortable with explaining your emotions to, because if a man get too emotional and start using his energy in certain ways, he's looked at like he's feminine. He's looked at like he's a bitch, or he gay, or he a hoe ass nigga. Like, we have got to stop this bullshit that we doing, because we are killing ourselves because of it. Y'all don't see what this is coming to? The black man feel like he have nowhere to go, to the point that his only rescue is taking his own life, relieving and evicting his own soul from his body. Come on now, man. We got to do something about this. And I'm not only talking about the black man, because this is happening amongst the black women too. But the reason why I'm leaving the black women out, because I have something for y'all later in this whole entire presentation. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
Dear gentlemen, science has
Hold on, let's keep it pushing.
Dear gentlemen.
Now, if you read this, it says suicide, third leading cause of death amongst black men. In 2019, the report released by the Congressional Black Caucus says that death by suicide amongst black youth is rising faster than any other racial group. Suicide ranked as the third leading cause of death in black men. Check out the ages. From ages 15 to 24, and black men are 4 times more likely to die by suicide than black women. And it's the reason why I'm not really speaking on black women right now, because the black women have a crucial role to play in healing the black man, and vice versa. Now check, it gets deeper, y'all. Now, this is what we have lost. We have lost rites of passage. We have lost elders, OGs, teachers. We have lost people that's really loyal to the youth and loyal to the community. Real fathers that's loyal to the children without the baby mama stepping in and totally disrupting the whole family structure. And again, we're going to talk about it on both levels. We're going to talk about it in Mayat. We're going to talk about this thing in a balanced level, because it is things that we have to do and responsibilities that we must come in the forefront of to heal this problem. If you look at the word husband come from the root word husbandry, and a husbandry, a husbandman, these used to be farmers. See, if you go back into slave days, and you go back when we was in ancient Sumeria, when we was in Kemet, when we was in Egypt, when we was in Nubia, when we was in Lemuria, when we was in Atlantis, you will see that we was very, very in agreement with our culture, agriculture. So you seen a lot of us planting seeds, forming, growing things, feeding whole civilizations of people. So in order for you to be a husband is someone who know how to plant the seed, cultivate the seed, harvest the seed, take care of what he harvests to replenish it again, for it can feed nations of people. So if you look at the root word of husbandry, it actually means a former, a responsible, good former at that. So man actually equals husband. You cannot be a man until you are a husband. A husband is somebody that know how to provide. What's the first thing he's going to be providing? Something that's essential for the household, essential for life. That's food. Without food, you can't survive. So usually the husband was called, or the former was called the husband. Then once the husband, since he's the former, he's the one who actually plants the seed. Once it comes harvest time and he pulls the seed from the soil, or he pulls that seed that he done cultivated inside of the black woman's soil or inside the black woman's womb, when he pulls that seed during harvest time, he become a father. He's the father of the household, or he's the father of the seed that he just planted and cultivated that he's pulling back. So now we're starting to get into real history and real definitions of names. And these things need to be implemented and taught in schools, not the educational mathematics bullshit that they teaching now. Teach men how to be men. But you can't do that if you in school learning about what you got young black boys in school learning about white female teachers. Or about white males. How is that going to, relate to us? It's a different group, different biochemical makeup, different way we perceive reality, different way outputs that's coming in an environment and coming in the inputs of the mind, which express your reality. So it behooves us that we learn by people that look just like us, people that suffer from the same things we suffer from, people that come from the same DNA genetically ancestral pools. Then we'll be able to identify with something and we can grow from there. See that when is this taught to you? Look, any of the black men out here, who taught you how to be a husband? Did you know that husband comes from husbandry? Did you know that husbandry means a farmer? Did you know a farmer is something? A farmer is a man who actually plants seeds in the ground and he cultivates the seeds. He learns to be responsible. He learns how to respond. He's able to respond. He have the ability to respond. Responsibility. He's able to respond. Able. You see that? And he can plant a seed. He can nourish that seed. He can make sure that seed is sitting in the sun right. He can make sure that that soil is right, cultivated right. He know how to get the cow manure. He know how to get the Brahmin and the bull manure, mix that manure together for it can cultivate the land. And then when it's harvest time, he pulls what he have planted and then he feeds and provides for his family. So in order to be a husband, you have to be a husbandry. In order to be a husbandry, you have to be a farmer. In order to be a farmer, you have to know agreeing with culture. You have to know agriculture. You don't know your culture. So how can you be a husband and how can you be a man? See, these are the lessons that we're missing in school and that we're missing in class. And this is what's bringing us to the point where we feeling like we ain't shit and we ain't gonna never be shit or amount to shit. So the last thing, our grandmas look down on us, talk down on us. Our girlfriends look down, talk down on us. Our wives say we ain't shit and all of this. I mean, we getting hit on every level of playing field, whether it's outside of the school or inside of the school, whether it's outside of the household or inside of the household. So it's bringing us to the point where we are picking up guns and blowing our own brains out. And before we do that, we are killing the mother of our children. How selfish is that? But you don't look at that selfish when you have a mental issue, when you have a mental inferiority complex. So they looking at this like it's their only way out, when it's not. All we have to do is set up institutes and start teaching what I'm teaching right now. Right? So we went from man equals husband equals father. A father is those who harvest what the husbandry done planted inside of the ground. Once you father it, father in Hebrew means Abba. Abba means the leader or the head of the household. See, when you get into this English language, they say daddy. Or father don't mean anything. Father, anybody can be a father. All the father means is you have a biological entity that have came from you. Now he's a father. He's the biological father. That's the father. That don't mean nothing. But in the ancient Sumerian or the ancient Phoenician Canaanite language or the Hebraic language, father means Baba or father means Abba. And Abba means leader of the household. So now we see that a father take leadership. And in order to have leadership, you have responsibility. See, this is why the rites of passage is important amongst the African culture, because if you start missing things when this is not taught to us, we're missing vital information that helps mold our frontal lobe, that helps mold our cerebral cortex, that helps mold our cerebellum, that helps mold our entire brain functioning. See, mental development is crucial to the information that is input inside the environment. Then the environment put this information inside the mind. Then we act out this information in our reality. So if these things are not being taught and these knowledge and these gems are not being dropped amongst the black youth, then we would never know what a man is. We would never know what a husband is. We would never know that a father means the leader of the household, and you can have children, and if you're not leading them and leading your household, then you're not a father. You just a nigga with a dick. See, like, if this was taught to us, then we would really know how to implement these things. Then once he's a father, now the man is the protector, because he have to protect his crop. He have to protect what he done put his seed in, meaning protect his land or his soil or his black woman, because that black woman's womb is the land. The black woman's womb is the fertile crescent of Africa. See, now he's protecting the black woman, and you would never see a man raise his pistol or raise his hand to that woman and beat her to a pulp or blow her brains out. Now he knows the actual infrastructure of providing for what he's protecting. Then that makes him controller, and he elevate her. Now from there, that's what give him authority, because he's able to sustain himself as a man and as a husband and father and a provider. Once a man is in that position, can't nobody tell him shit. You can't tell him a man to get out his own house. You see that? You can't tell a man he can't eat when he's planting seeds in his own soil. You can't tell a man no when he's actually being a man. But we in a position where man is getting told no because they haven't learned these steps of education yet. And that is our issue, and that is our problem. And I am totally disappointed in our black elders. I'm very, very disappointed in the black elders. There's a few good ones out there, but the rest of them are extortionists. The rest of them have jealousy problems. The rest of them hate to see the younger man doing good. The rest of them don't want to teach us tools of the trades. Nothing. So then you leave us to the streets. And them niggas gonna raise us, but they gonna raise us the wrong way. They gonna raise us to be drug dealers. They gonna raise us to be killers. They gonna raise us to be con men, petty theft artists. They gonna raise us to be lustful, to chase after women's vagina all day and never fulfill nothing within self. So y'all done stepped down from the post, and y'all done fell from y'all responsibilities, and y'all done left us to the streets. So now it's time for us to come together and redo this thing and to reprogram the culture inside of the black youth mindset, y'all. It really is. It really is. You are a man. A man's supposed to be priest, which means he brings God to his household. He's supposed to be prophet, which means he brings a word of God in his household. The priest is called Kohanim. The Kohanim is the propitiatory step. It's the intercessor. You are the middleman between your woman and God. You're literally showing the guidance inside of the household. Then you're a prophet. Prophet is bringing a word to the household. Hey, look, I think we need to do this way. Let's do the money this way this time. Let's start saving up. Hey, look, I see winter coming. Let's make sure we stack up our canned goods and water. I heard it was wars and rumors of wars going on. Let's probably try to build a bunker. Let's make sure we create, some off-site grid somewhere. See, that's what the man posts, because he's the logical part of the woman. The woman is the creative part. The man's supposed to lay down the blueprint, and he's supposed to lay down the plan. Then the woman, she got the creativity to get it done for him. That creative space is what I'm talking about. And then last but not least, he's supposed to be king of his household. You are ruler. You're a ruler, but you rule in a good way. And I'm not talking about ruling with an iron fist or ruling with shut the up, woman. I ain't talking about nothing like that. But these things have to be taught to us, and that's the whole point of a rites of passage. And we don't have that because they ain't give it to us, because our culture was taken from us. Our God was taken from us. Our tradition was taken from us. Our customs was taken from us. Even our language was taken from us, down to the land. Even the land was taken from us, y'all. All right, now check this out. I want to show y'all something, how beautiful embryology is, and when you study embryology and how embryology shows you the psychological development of the embryo as well. So, I'm finna show y'all something. And this teaching is kind of hard to understand, so sit back and get y'all pens and y'all papers, and I'm gonna make sure I talk real slow to show y'all what's going on. So what we're talking about right now is gestation. Now, gestation is a period of development during the carrying of an embryo. It says in later fetus, inside the viviparous animals, it says the embryo develops with the parent. It is typical for mammals, but also occurs in some non-mammals. So we talking about gestation, a gas station, and it's literally the birthing and the development of the embryonic sac, right? So I'm gonna show y'all something that is very, very important, because once you get into embryology and you see how the baby come from the chromosomes and how you go through the evolutionary period inside the woman's womb, it have a lot to do when it comes to the psychological development as well, y'all. So check this out. This is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now you start seeing the meiosis or mitosis go on, and then you start seeing the reproductive process of the human, right? Then you start seeing the ovum, or what they call the eggs, and you're getting 23 chromosomes from the eggs that grow on the ovary, and you're getting 23 chromosomes that's inside of the sperm head where the melanin dot is at. Now, once the man ejaculates in a woman, and if she's going through her ovulation period, what happens is a zygote will penetrate, and when that zygote actually penetrates, the fertilization of the egg starts. Then mitosis starts to happen, where the cell starts to uncontrollably divide into something you call the 3 stages of the embryonic development. You have the mesoderm, the endoderm, and the exoderm, and then this actually creates the embryo. The embryo end up with 46 chromosomes. 4 plus 6 is 10. These are the 10 eternal instructions of life. Some people call it the 10 commandments and stuff like that, and is in 23 pairs, right? Now check this out. What we're looking at is all of these things taking place, and then all of a sudden you see the embryo or the fetus come into play. The moment you see the fetus come into play, this is a female. All right, this is a female. This is X chromosome all day. This is not YX chromosome. So every baby, every fetus, every embryo start off as a female. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because this is very, very important when it comes to the mental and the maturity growth and the mental aspect of males, and how we need to grow from this this feminine aspect that we're still in. And that's the reason why we killing ourselves and killing our females, because we are males with males parts, but mentally we still acting like females. We never changed. We never added that Y chromosome to make us male mentally. See, we added it physically, but it never got added mentally. So we're still stuck in a feminine aspect of mental, and that's going to stop you from bringing balance. See, the woman needs balance. A female needs a male, just like the male needs balance. A male needs a female. So now at the 5 to 6 weeks, this is when you finally start seeing, the actual male. If it's going to be a male, this is when you start seeing the different types of chromosomes start switching and different genes start taking a play. And then from this 6-week mark, and if you look up 6 weeks, 6 times 7 is 42, y'all. 42 just so happened to be the number of Ma'at. So in order for a female to become a male, because all embryos and all babies start off as females, this is scientific fact, and I'm going to show and prove this right now. At the 6 weeks, that final mark, right, is when the X chromosome, the Y chromosome actually come in, and then it start changing the different types of hormones to actually descend the testicles of the ovaries become basically testes, right? The clitoris becomes elongated, and that clitoris becomes the gland of the head of the shaft of the phallus of the penis, and then you start seeing all of the male features come out once that Y chromosome starts to merge and that Y gene starts to merge during the 6th week. And this is then the final 6-week stage. So it takes 42 days for a male to be birthed out of a female during this gastration period, or during the embryology development period. All right, and now look, 42 actually means ma'at in Kemet, y'all. So that's deep within itself, that 42 actually means balance. And in order for a man to be a man, he must find balance. In order for that fetus to turn from a female fetus, actually, or a phenic, they call it phenic, a phenic fetus into a male principle, it have to find balance. It have to be 42 days, y'all, or what we call 6 weeks. Now, when you start getting into this, it shows you how this happened. So during that 6-week period, this is called the SRY gene. All right. And this is the male determining factor. And this is where you get the actual Y gene from. See that? So she have the X chromosome, you have the Y chromosome, XY chromosome, and that's what creates a male. But before then, notice you have to do extra things. Same thing mentally with a male. See, it's easy to call a male a male. It's easy to call a male a boy. But to call a male a man, Or to call a boy a man, he have to do something extra. Just like to call that fetus a man or to call that fetus a male, it have to do something extra, which is borrow on the actual Y chromosome. Then it turns into a boy. That's when I say, oh, it's a boy. But notice something extra have to take place. And that extra thing when it comes to spirituality or when it comes to mental capability or when it comes to psychological development, that extra Y chromosome that we need, that Y gene that we need, is called a rites of passage. And this rites of passage is very, very deep, y'all. We have to go through these things for we can start acquiring the things we need for we can survive as a species and a race of people. And we're missing that because it's not being taught inside of our schools. It's not being taught by our fathers. Most of our fathers is not in the household, and it can't be taught by a mother because she's not a male. See that? Before we keep going, I just want to make sure y'all get me real quick. Before we keep going, I want to make sure y'all get me. I know this is a hard teaching right here, but let me know if y'all understand, overstand, and understand everything that I'm talking about so far. If you understand or overstand and understand me, let me know. Type in some 9s right now. And it just shows you that the XX came before the YX, y'all. The XX is the phenotype, or what you call the feminine aspects. That's what you call a female. And then that something extra have to take place, something supernatural have to take place, and then we see the actual Y chromosome or the YRS chromosome take place, and then we see all of the feminine reproductive organs start looking like genitalia male area, showing you something extra have to happen for that girl to become a man or for a boy to become a man. Same thing when it comes to spirituality and it comes to the mental capability of you being a husband and being a father and you going through your rites of passage. You need that Y chromosome, and we're missing that Y chromosome spiritually and mentally and psychologically, and that's the reason why we're still acting like females and we don't know how to control our emotions. That is leading us to the point that we killing ourselves and we blowing our wives' brains out, or we blowing our baby mother brains out in front of our children because we're missing that Y chromosome. That Y chromosome to me stands for Yahweh. That's what it stands for to me. I know a lot of y'all believe in other different gods. I ain't knocking you. I ain't knocking your God concept. That's what mine stand for. And I believe if you bring that actual principle into play, we can restructure and reformat or re-download or upload what we need to be who we are, for we can take back control over our culture. And these are the facts of the matter. This the facts of the matter, y'all. Y'all see that? So I'm glad to understand it. Let's go back to it. Yes, we need balance, Moshe El Bay. We need balance. That 42, that Ma'at, which takes 42 days for a female, because all fetuses starts off as females, to even convert into a male if the supernatural Y gene choose so. And that's why I call the supernatural Y gene Yahweh, Yahuwah, Yahweh, whatever y'all want to call it. But that's what I identify with. And I'm not knocking anybody that identify with anything else, because it's the same God concept. It's just a different language of how we trying to explain it. All right, let's get back to it. It gets deep, y'all. It gets deep. All right. Now we getting back to this, and we just showing that at the 6 weeks marker, that's when you see the sex determining region, Y, which is SRY gene. This gene is Y. It says leak because it is found only in the Y chromosome. And the reason why it's only found in the Y chromosome, because the Y chromosome is the male chromosome. And this is what literally starts changing the physiological structure of the female genitals. You start literally seeing the change, and I'm going to show y'all pictures of this. It says the SRY gene is located on the short arm of the Y chromosome. This gene causes males gonadal development. See that all males start off as female. Males is nothing but a mutated female, and this is facts proven. I don't care. You can bring your religious books, you can bring all of it all you want. This is straight up proven, sun up to sundown, with genes, with chromosomes, with cellular biology laboratories. This is proven. Everything start off aquatic female, then it changed to male if the Y gene intervenes. If the Y gene does not intervene and the female do not give 2/3 of her chromosomes over to the male, there will only be a planet full of females. Showing you how important the male truly is. Then if we had to come into existence, that must mean our importance is damn good importance, straight up. And it just shows you that the Sry gene, it says it turns out that ovaries can, now look, I want to show y'all something mentally. Remember, we can learn things through embryology. Embryology teaches us spiritual characteristics, it teaches us spiritual methodologies, and it teaches how to build oneself. Check this out. It says it turns out that ovaries can only remain ovaries, so the female can only remain the female, or the woman can only remain the woman, or the black goddess can only remain the black goddess by constantly suppressing their ability to become male. Ooh wee, boy. Ooh wee, showing you that your power is in your surrendering, woman. Your power is in your surrendering. Your power is in your support of the black man. If you don't support the black man, it's impossible for him to become male. If you don't surrender to it's impossible for him to become male. This says it right here. It turns out that the ovaries can only remain ovaries by constantly suppressing their ability to become male. See that? See, we got a lot of independent women out here, which is not a good thing. There's nothing about a black woman being independent. That's the most dumbest white supremacy weaponized tactic that I ever seen in my life, and is working like a charm. See, your power is in your submissiveness. And when I mean submissiveness, I don't mean that you're laying down to a low down dirty Negro. I mean that you understand you came first. You understand your creative power. You understand that all life come from your womb. You understand your your X chromosome, your XY chromosome, XX. You understand your power, and in order for you to actually make the man or support him to developing to who he's supposed to be, you will surrender yourself, for he can be everything he need to be to make sure he's protecting and providing for you. And it says this in embryology. All we got to do is just study the embryo. See, look, nature teach us. See, religion, cool, but nature is going to teach us everything we need to know. And that's where religion come from. Religion come from body parts. Religion come from the organs. Religions come from the glandular highway. Religion come from studying the neurological aspects of the brain. Religion come from studying the melanin neurotransmitters. The religion come from studying the actual skeleton structure and bone structure of density of black males and black women. That's why you start seeing God shaped like different body parts. You start seeing everything shaping like the body. Kundalini is the serpent. The serpent is the gut. The serpent is also the Kundalini shell, or the conduit for the energy to flow. What they call the spinal cord. The 12 cranium nerves of the 12 disciples. We talking about the temples, or what you would call the temples of the temple in Israel. Everything has something to do with the developing stage of your biochemical body. That's where religion come from. So if we cut the middleman out and go straight to studying who we truly are, which is gods and goddesses, then we can create our own psychological blueprint and pathways and customs on how to be who we supposed to be, just by studying the simple genes and the simple cells and the growth and development structure of the black man and the black woman's body. So from studying embryology, I see that the female can only stay female the female can only stay a female as long as she is suppressing, or as long as she's surrendering herself to the male in the most positive, powerful way. I don't mean this in no degrading way at all. I know we come from Hebrew backgrounds, especially me, and I know how Hebrew men treat their wives. Well, some Hebrew men. I do not speak for all Hebrew men. There is good Hebrew men out there, but most of them, you know, they treat them like they just a fly of shit on a wall or something. And we teach totally against that whatsoever. But we do believe in accountability, though, y'all. As African men, we believe in accountability and responsibility. All right. It says silence a single gene in adult ovaries turns into testes. Their default course is a female one, but they can be diverted through the action of a gene called SRY that sits on the Y chromosome. Do y'all get the spiritual gems we are learning from the physical body? Let me say that again. Do y'all get the spiritual gems that we are learning from the physical body? If you get them spiritual gems right now that we learning from physiology, y'all type in some nines right now. If you getting them gems that we talking about right now, type in some nines. Let's see it. Let's see it. If you getting them gems that's being dropped, if you learning spirituality, if you learning the course of nature and how to apply these spiritual characteristics to oneself, to develop yourself psychologically, physiologically, to develop yourself, your mental capability, type in some nines right now. This is how beautiful your body is. Everything was created by it. Everything was created off of it. Your body's so dope. A whole form of religions. All 12 religions was created off your physiology. That's how much of a God you is. And we have been demoted to a point where we are taking guns, killing our women and taking ourselves out and leaving our children here to fend for themselves in this white supremacy, wicked ass world. Shame on us. We have to do better. Shame on us. Straight up. Let's get back into it because it gets deeper. It gets deeper, family. And forgive me if I'm moving too fast. I've been trying to slow down lately. I just be so passionate, y'all. I be trying to slow it down a little taste. All right, let's get back into it, family. We started off at the Y chromosome. Let's keep it pushing. Check this out. Check this out. Hold on, let me make sure I'm all the way on real quick before I start going in like that. All right, there we go. Check this out, family. Check this out. And blow it back up. Bang. All right, let's go to the next slide. Now, this shows you after the first 5 to 6 weeks, how the XY chromosome or gene by the SRY gene starts turning into the man. That's why I say it's time to man up. And then you start really seeing the blastos and the zogites and everything starts like really shifting towards that male. But first it was straight up female, man. That's deep. Showing you that the man essentially have to do something extra to be called a man. Notice that. Notice when you talk about a woman, you call a woman all the time. Woman. You never call a grown woman a little girl. But you see us or women calling grown men boys. Or baby boy, you still a boy. When you gonna grow and be a man? Or you see, he have to do something extra to be a man. And what he's missing is the teaching of rites of passage, y'all. And this is why culture is so important. So if we study embryology, we can learn life lessons from it. All right. Now, we already read that one. Let's keep it going. All right, so this just shows you the chromosome and what builds the letter. Without male and female, without balance, without that 42 days, or what we're going to call that ma'at, it's impossible for the actual double helix DNA to form properly, and we can climb Jacob's ladder. This ladder leads you to your higher self, and this is where you get Jacob's ladder from and how he wrestled with the angels, and he's seen angels ascending and descending. This is talking about the melanin neurotransmitters going up and down the spinal cord and raising the kundalini for you can actually be in front of God face to face. And he named that land pineal or pineal, which stands for the pineal gland. Notice that balance have to take place before this letter is truly formed, y'all. This is Jacob letter. They call this the double helix deoxyribonucleic acid, or they call it the DNA double helix strand that's put together by sugar phosphate backbones that's held together by trace minerals that's been converted to salts. And these salts is what holds the amino acid peptides together, and that's what forms you. DNA makes cells, cells make organs, organs make systems, and these systems make a full-grown human being. Now, this is what I want to talk about, the XY chromosome, the Yahweh chromosome. Once you start getting into the Yahweh, that's what the Indians, the indigenous, everybody say they're indigenous, which a lot of us is from the Americas. Notice what they used to dance to. Yah, wah, 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 wah. That's the actual song to make the rain come. Yah, wah, 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 yah, wah, wah. Notice what they're saying. They're saying Yah. We got to talk about these things. Then you start studying Egyptians or Kemet. Yahweh was back in Egypt. Yahweh was back in ancient Sumeria. The same Yahweh, the same word is even present in your DNA. And I'm gonna show y'all that. And that's what we missing. We missing the Y chromosome, and that's the reason why we whacked out of our minds, y'all. All right, so this is talking about human heredity. We can keep it pushing past that. I want to show y'all how this happens. So once you literally look at what's going on, you see that it all starts off like this. They say boy, girl, but it's actually a girl. And then from that, you see the development of the penis, or you see the full development of the vagina. Now, notice it all starts off as a vagina, but what happens is in order for it to become a male, the extra spiritual, supernatural sauce got to happen to the man for the man to actually become the male. Notice the clitoris starts to turn into the gland. The gland becomes the head of the penis. Then you start looking at the actual vulva and the lips. The lips actually extend and literally becomes the penis shaft. And then the bottom lips of the part that go down, and that becomes the scrotum sac. That's why every man testicles, if you look at your sac, you have a line going down it. Well, guess what that line is? That line used to be the lips on the vagina. If you look at the tip of your penis, that gland used to be a clitoris. If you look at them testicles that's inside of that scrotum sac, them testicles used to be ovaries that was a part of fallopian tubes. Yes, and then the fallopian tubes, look, you can't make this stuff up, y'all. I'm telling you. You cannot make this stuff up. Everything starts off as an aquatic female. This shows you again how the man have to play a descending role to even become who he is, showing you how the black goddess or the black woman must be high. You know, and not high meaning she's over us, but mean high meaning you held her high. You keep her lifted. And in order for you to keep her lifted, you have to descend. And the descending is how you form your male parts. If you look at everything, look at how the actual ovaries start to descend and then become the testicles on my left side. This is in week 7 to 8. You see that at birth, it's showing you how it comes down. See that when it's in its female stage, they're ovaries, but then it descends and come down and become testicles. Then you start seeing the actual shaft, how the shaft descend and the clitoris extend and descend to come down to actually become the male. Same thing you're doing when you're bending down in that field to plant your seeds, to be a husband. Like if you actually study embryology, y'all, it teaches you a life lesson. No bull crap, man. I'm so excited because like I see it. It's all right here. It's all right here. So showing you what the man have to do to make sure that the woman is uplifted and what the woman have to do to make sure the man is uplifted. She have to constantly suppress her gene. She have to constantly suppress her gene. Her ovaries have to constantly suppress that Y gene, that SRY gene, to keep her from becoming a male, for the male can become the male and express his entity. But in order for the male to give true tribute to the woman and the woman can express who she truly is, he have to descend. Is we really learning these life lessons here, y'all? Is we really learning these life lessons? I got to check in on y'all again because now we finna start getting deep into this lesson, y'all. We finna start getting deep into this lesson. If y'all understand and understand everything I'm saying so far, type in some 9s and we going to keep it going. We going to keep it going. See that? It's not about who's over and who's under. It's about who's balanced. It's about who's balanced. It's about who's balanced. Because scientifically proven, we already know the woman came first. That's undeniable. We can't even knock that no more. Let's just go and get that out the way. Let's get that out the way. Now it's talking about how can I be the man that I was created to be? How can you be the woe man that you was created to be? How can you be that? And that comes with proper balance. That's why it says man was not created to be alone in our ancient Yahwistic scriptures. Man was not created to be alone. Therefore, I created him a helpmeet. I get the psychological analogy that the prophets was putting forth because we was not created to be alone. You see that? The woman was not created to be alone. And that's the reason why male come from female. It makes all the sense in the world. We just religionize everything and we start making, certain passages in certain books, not just the Bible. You got the Quran, you got all types of books that we turn these books into God when the books are not God at all. God is the omnipotent, omnipresent. And then you channel through that higher source because you are a descendant of God. So you are gods and goddesses. And then you write things down. And then the things you write down is supposed to be used as tools and utensils and blueprints to get back to the cosmic ether. Instead, what men have done, they have taken all of these books and they have turned these books into God. No, that book is not God. The Quran is not God. You see that? These are men who channeled different aspects and who channeled different attributes of God and wrote it down through they channeling through the ancestral umbilical cord line. Then they wrote it down. But we have straight took these books and made these books superior to our own anatomy when the books came from your anatomy. Got to make it make sense. Whether we talking about the Bible, Biblios, Helios, the Tanakh, the Torah, the Quran, the Motvivada, the Talmud, whatever book we want to talk about. It's all talking about you. It's all talking about you. That's all I'm saying. And again, I'm not here knocking nobody. I'm here trying to free the people. And these are tools and utensils we need to free the people. Now check this out, family. It's getting deep. Now let me show y'all how the psychological aspect of the woman works. And we need to learn these things. So a woman, she thinks with her frontal lobe, all right? Periodontal every now and then, but she's a frontal lobe thinker. She want to know how you feel. A man want to know what you think. He's logical. See, a man is automatically left brain. And if you see the way the body work, he's left brain. That's why you see a lot of men are right-handed, because they think with the left a lot. You see a lot of women, if you do the statistics, they're left-handed because they're creative right brain thinkers. So a woman want to know, how do you feel? She want to know the essence of what you're trying to express. Some men can give a damn about how you feel. They want to know what you think. I just want to know what you think. You see that even our communication is different. See that a man to say, yeah, I hear you. But a woman to say, yeah, baby, I feel you. It's a difference. It's even through our psychological speech analogies. We would talk different. And that's why her brain developed very faster than males. A male take 21 to 23 years, and that's Saturn taking this whole spin and orbit to become a actual fully developed male. Not man, but fully developed male. A woman literally can become a grown woman physiological wise, not talking mentally, by the age when she come on her period all the way up to 14. So it's different parts. So she developed way quicker than us. Now, it shows you even in the way she played with toys. See, this is called child's play. When you see little black girls play, you notice they play house. They learn social skills. They're already learning how to take care of the household. They're learning how to be goddesses naturally. Man is not learning that naturally unless it's from a actual man going through his rites of passage stage, or that Y chromosome, that spiritual Yahweh Y chromosome stage, and teaching that to the male. Otherwise, he won't get it. The woman, since she was here first, she already came equipped where she learned this shit naturally. That's why you see women playing with Barbie dolls. They have the Barbie dolls kissing. They don't know where it come from. It's just within them. They play house. You see that they playing house. They learning how to keep the house together, how to make the house a home. They 4 years old learning. This is just being expressed through them. They don't even know where it come from. It's literally speaking from their DNA. You see that? Then you see a boy get a toy. He got car. He banging toys and shit together. He banging them together. He jumping off couches with capes on. He's doing everything to shorten his life. But the black woman, that black child, is doing everything to learn how to appreciate and how to evolve through life just by playing with their toys. That's why toys are important. See what I'm saying? We learning the psychological analogies between male and female. See, that female come equipped. That male have to learn and have to actually adapt and evolve to certain things. It's a difference. Just like that female, all fetuses come out as females. There's something supernatural or extra have to happen in order for that female to yield a male. See, these are the same analogies that I'm teaching y'all. So you see with the little black girls, they automatically instinctively know to play house, to play with their Barbie dolls, to get their social skills up. Proverbs 21 type things. You feel me? 31 type things. Then you see the black female, she learns how to get her cooking station. She learns how to put her pots and pans on the stove, making hot dogs and juices for the children. Sometimes she use a Barbie doll and she act like she's feeding the Barbie doll. So in her mind and her mental, she's already preparing to be a wife. She's already preparing to be a queen of a queendom or a kingdom, to be a goddess over a reign, over a lot, over a plot. She's preparing. The only thing she needs is her male, but her male is not being learned properly because he haven't been taught the rites of passage though. See what I'm saying? She instinctively already have it inside of her XX chromosomes. But we need Yahweh. We need that Y. The man need that Y, man. I'm telling you. Check this out. Then look, like I said, you get to the boy, look at him. He just banging. He got toys. He just banging. He destructive. He's banging shit up. He's not learning how to do anything that he can take into his older years that he can apply by learning as an adolescent. He's not learning he's being destructive. He's learning how to destroy things. He's learning how to jump off couches and break arms and legs. He's learning how to wrestle and things like that, showing you that he's learning that destructive part. He have to descend to become the man. He have to be the destroyer. God, generator, operator, destroyer. He have to learn that destroyer aspect. That's why he's very destructive in nature. He destroyed things. He put them back together. He like to wrestle because he got to protect the household. See, just by studying babies and how they interact with the environment will show you how we supposed to be when we grow older mentally. See him? Now he playing with a dinosaur. What is he gonna do with that dinosaur? That dinosaur, they don't even exist no more. He play with things that don't learn him anything unless there's a man there, an actual man, not a male, but a man, or a boy, but a man there who went through his rites of passage, who acquired manhood to teach him how to flow, to direct and guide him into becoming a man. You see that? Now today we ain't playing with the dinosaur. Today we're gonna read a book. Today we're gonna understand colors and skin colors. Today we're gonna talk about white supremacy and how to act and move when you out here in the world. See that today it ain't dinosaur day to day. It ain't Spider-Man day to day. It ain't Spider-Man day to day. We got to talk about some very, very important things, son. See that them are rites of passages that we need. Now, this is what I want to talk to you about, because this is very, very deep, and this is scientific terms. This is called transgenerational epigenetic inheritance, y'all. Let me say it again. Transgenerational epigenetic inheritance. All right? Now, this is actually talking about the transgenerational epigenetic inheritance and transmission of epigenetic markers from one organism to the next, from parent to child, that affect the traits of offsprings without altering the primary structure of deoxyribonucleic acid, the sequence of nucleotides, in other words, epigenetically. Let's break down what that means. I know there was a lot of scientific jargon, so let's break this down. This is deep, y'all. This was a science experiment that happened amongst rats, and then once they tested amongst rats, they tested amongst chimpanzees. Then after they tested amongst chimpanzees, then they tested on niggas. You know how they do it, right? So this was an experiment that scientists did amongst the rat colony first. They brought thousands of rats, and these rats, they noticed that the rats was actually allergic to flower blossom, right? That was allergic to flower blossom, and flower blossom, we used to kill them because they used to have allergic reactions to the flower blossom. Then all of a sudden, when the rats had offsprings, the offsprings of the rats would avoid the flower blossom by miles, y'all. They instinctively knew not to come by the flower blossom. We are either reincarnating ourselves or we're passing down through the umbilical cord or the ancestral cord information to warn the genes and to warn the cells of our children not to do certain things. And then they tried this in chimpanzees, the same thing happened, and of course they experimented on Negroes in their rat forms, or what you call the projects, and it happened the same way. So transgenerational epigenetic inheritance is scientifically proven that our ancestors passed down informational traits to us all the time, whether it's intellect, whether it's being a warrior, whether it's being lustful, whether it's loving alcohol. Let me just look at the crack baby for instance. The crack baby didn't smoke crack. The mama smoked crack. But we see that the crack actually have a physiological and a mental, psychological aspect and problem and issue and impression on the baby while the baby is in the womb and when the baby come outside the womb. That's where you get the term "I eat crack baby" from. The baby ain't smoked no damn crack. It was the mama while the baby was in the womb. Or it was the mama smoking crack before she even thought about having children. And we still see the descendants of her children act slow and have certain type of neurological function issues, malfunctioning problems, have all types of, disruptive behavior, lashing out. They have all these issues, and they never smoked a crack pipe in their life, but it came passed down through their mama, because there's a such thing as transgenerational epigenetic inheritance. Now, if this is on a bad scale, what about the positive side of the ancestors that built the Great Pyramids? What about the positive sides of the ancestor who built the Sphinx, the pyramids in the Americas, the pyramids in Mexico, the pyramids everywhere we go? What about the spacecraft in ancient Sumeria, the Anunnaki showing us coming down and how we descended from the heavens? If we was doing all of that spectacular, intelligent, supernatural stuff then, and we have something called transgenerational epigenetic inheritance, what do that mean about us, our capabilities, the untapped resources that we truly, truly have within inside of our melanin DNA, within inside of these 9 etheric vessels that we're living in right now? Ooh, you see that? That's some deep stuff right there. But we're going to talk about that later. Right now, I want to talk about how trauma was passed down through transgenerational epigenetic inheritance, how murderous thoughts was passed down through transgenerational epigenetic inheritance, how the lack of self-confidence was passed down through transgenerational epigenetics, how the brutalization of our significant others was passed down through transgenerational epigenetics inheritance, how the slowing of the mindset and the emasculation was passed down through epigenetic inheritance, how the prison systems and being locked up in prison houses and joining gangs and smoking dope and being in this environment that we're in right now was all passed down through transgenerational epigenetic inheritance. This is a scientific thing, y'all. Scientifically, I just showed y'all this, right? Check out how this worked. I'm finna show you we finna unravel and unveil the plot of white supremacy and of the CIA and of the government and why they got us in the mental health that they got us in right now. Check this out. Check it out. Shouts out to the 900 people that's in the building. Check this out, y'all. Check this out. Oh, we. Now, we're going to talk about slavery, so-called slavery, and how so-called slavery was abolished. So, okay, check this out. So, we see on December 18th, 1865, the 13th Amendment was adopted as part of the United States Constitution. The amendment officially abolished slavery and immediately freed more than 100,000 slave people from Kentucky, Delaware. The language used in the 13th Amendment was taken from the 1787 Northwest Ordinance, right? So this shows you how they so-called let the slaves go free. Mind you, we still dealing with transgenerational epigenetic inheritance, all of the brutal trauma, all of the psychological beatings and warfare that we went through, where they ripped us apart from horses. They castrated us in front of our women. They beat us down in front of our women. They made us look like we was inferior in front of our women. And they fed the women. I'm painting a picture, y'all, because this is what's going on with the black man mindset right now. They used to tie us to horses and whip the horses and let the horses split us apart. You think I'm lying? Just buy some Levi jeans. The Levi sign on the Levi jeans tell the story. The jeans are tied to two horses and it's split in the middle, showing the horses ripping that black man apart. Yes, Levi is white supremacy, and it is all in the symbols, y'all. It's all in the symbols. Or how I used to feed us to alligators. And then you look at Lacoste and you look at all of these different things where the alligator is eating towards the man when he wear the shorts. We was alligator bait. It's all in the symbols, y'all. It means something. Or how they used to burn us on stakes alive. How they used to rip us away from our mothers, our fathers, our grandmas, our families. How they used to do all these traumatic things. Y'all don't think that this played a toll on our psychological development as people and generations of what we living in right now? Yes, it did. Do I need to say the word again? Transgenerational epigenetic inheritance. How many times? I'm going to say it all day if I can beat this in y'all skull. That way y'all can research and look this stuff up yourselves. What happened to our ancestors when they was over in the cotton fields, picking cotton, sun up to sundown, being massively murdered, going through psychological warfare, is still living within you today. And that's why you have all these stress-related diseases, because we was in a stress environment for 400 years and even after, right up into this very day. And that's why the black man is killing himself. He is stressed the fuck out. And he needed support from the black woman. Because the black woman is the only woman that can supply that Y chromosome, that Yah factor, that Yahweh factor. When that XX chromosome can merge XY and he can become the man. He needs support. He needs a support system. He needs a support system from his mama. He needs a support system from his father. He needs a support system from his children. He needs a support system from his mother, his wife. He needs a support system from his brothers that's around him, his neighborhood. He needs a support system from the entire environment in order for him to go through his rites of passage to become a man mentally, which makes him a husband, one who plants seeds, which makes him a father, one who harvests the seed that he just planted, which makes him a provider to provide the harvest from the seed he planted, which makes him a protector, protecting the whole culture that he just agreed with, or what you call agriculture. That's what makes a man. That is a rites of passage. The rites of passage is in the culture. The culture is in our customs. The custom is in our literature. The literature is now inside your DNA because they burnt all the rest of the shit. You are the walking book. That's why you have a spine. Don't books have spines? Don't books have seals? You have 7 seals called the chakras, or the endocrine system, the glandular highway, the 7 churches, the Kevin Cersei's, whatever the hell y'all want to call it. It's the same thing. Your DNA have histones full of trillions and trillions of informations and zigogites. I just made that up. Zigozites of information. You are the book. You are the word. Unlock it. Go through your rites of passage. Now see this. So in 1865, we noticed that they pretended to let the slaves go. They let us go from physical labor in fields, and then we started moving into physical labors in the industrial systems. But then once we started taking over the industrial systems, these people de-industrialize our ass, y'all. Check this out. So it says on December 18th, 1865, the 13th Amendment was adopted as part of the United States Constitution. The amendment officially abolished slavery and immediately freed more than 100,000 enslaved people from Kentucky to Delaware. The language used in the 13th Amendment was taken from the 1787 Northwest Ordinance. Now write down 1865. I'm going to show you a timeline and how these bastards are diabolical, y'all. Diabolical. Then we got in 1860s, right after they let the slaves free. Guess what? Now we see the formation and development and creation of the police force. Now, the police was the slave masters or the slave catchers. Now they are getting paid to catch free slaves. You see that? Now we got police forcemen. That mean that they gotta build prisons. Y'all see what's happening? So we think that we got better in life. No, we digressed in life. We're going down the totem pole. We didn't get better. And that's the reason why the late, great John Henry Clark said that if you look at any progress after slavery, of course you're going to look at it as progress. But if you study your true history before slavery, and you look at where we at now, you be like, oh, hell no, we have deteriorated. We have digressed. We have gotten worse. We're worse off than we was before. We were kings and queens and gods and goddesses. We had mental health. We created health. Hippocrates ain't create no damn health. He wasn't the first doctor. If you look on the papyrus and you actually look in Kemet, our people was the first people studying medicine and studying herbs and herbology and fruitarianism. That's even in the Bible, book of Genesis, chapter 1 and 29. That's your fruitarianism, frugivore diet right there. What happened to us? This is what happened. So we see in 1865 that they abolished so-called slavery. Then in the late 1860s, we see that the early 1860s policing the movements of black people because now they're free. So now they had to police their movements. Slave patrols were explicit in their design to empower the white population. They were first established in South Carolina in 1704. Look this up, 1704. Y'all think I'm lying? Just quote me on my stuff, y'all. It says, and the idea spread throughout the colonies before their use diminished following the Civil War in 1860. These now police departments was former slave catchers and mercenaries. They have claimed hundreds of thousands of black men lives. Their main targets was black men. So now we see that we come out of slavery just to go into a different matrix of enslavement. You notice that? And the whole thing is to track down that black man. You kill that black man, you kill the whole family source. You diminish that black man, you break his mind, you break that buck, you spread his cheeks apart and put your little shrimp 2-inch penis inside of his butt, you will break him psychologically. It's where you get breaking the buck from. It's where sagging come from. These things made it inside of the jail systems. Now the man in jail that sag means he got his booty took. It means that he's the property of his owner that's now inside. And it used to be the slave catcher, or it used to be the slave master that became the jail patrolman that was breaking bucks and taking the butts of black men and making them sag. And they also had them sag for they couldn't run away too. But see, this psychologically is now in us. Transgenerational epigenetic inheritance. Now we sag our pants and don't even know the true meaning behind it. And we don't even know why we sag our pants. It's just inside of the gene. And then we see the rappers do it and hip hop do it, the gangster artists, which we gonna get to this rap too. All of this is strategically designed by white supremacy, y'all. White supremacists. So now we see that the police force was created. The precincts was created, and the actual polices and the chiefs over these precincts, the lieutenants, was actually slave catchers and slave exterminators. And we wonder why they still exterminating us in the streets till this very day. They're doing their job that Satan gave them. And we wonder why black men are killing themselves. Stuff like this. Stuff like this. Now, check this out. in 1860s, all this is right after slavery, y'all. Slavery so-called ended in 1855, right? That's when the True Abolishment Amendment came out. Now we ain't even in the 1870s yet. We already see the construction of all types of police forces, which is ex-slave catchers and ex-slave mercenaries, where they used to like straight exterminate us. Now we see in the late 1860s again. It says in the late 1860s during the Reconstruction era, when southern states under biracial Republican governments created public schools for ex-slaves. Now, not only that, we got public school systems where they're teaching us how to be better slaves, because they had to reinvent the slavery in us mentally, because they abolished the physical labor of picking cotton. And the only reason why they stopped us from picking cotton, because their technology had got better and they bought technology from China. If they never bought technology from China and they never learned how to use these different Chinese machineries to start picking cotton on its own, we still be in them damn slave cotton picking fields today. But they replaced us with robots. They replaced us with AI. The same thing that they're doing now through these so-called shots. They're replacing us with AI, artificial intelligence. You see that? So now we see that they got to take us to slave school, or what you call public school, to teach you how to be a better slave. See that? Now we're going through. So in 1860s, it says in the late 1860s during the Reconstruction era, when southern states under biracial Republican governments created public schools for ex-slaves, the main agenda was to teach so-called ex-slaves skills and basic fundamentals to create jobs for them to stay working for the new ex-slave master, laboring for minimum wage to keep the oppressors rich and wealthy during this period, and still till this very day, the objective was to rewrite the true indigenous Native American, quotation, Indian tribal Africans, because it's what you truly are, histories. Schools was created to keep you oppressed. Their main targets was black men, going after the black men again. We're uneducated, lack knowledge, don't know what love is. We even learned how to hump. We learned what love is by these same people. And we wonder why you can pull out a gun and shoot your baby mother in the face, because we haven't learned. We haven't been through our rites of passage, and we have lost our true history, her story, and our true literature. Let me see if y'all keeping up so far. Because you see, look, family, the deep part about this is we still in 1860s. We are still in the 1860s, y'all. We ain't even got to the 70s. We haven't even got to the 70s, and already you can see the transgenerational epigenetic inheritance, and why the minds of black men is going through the health crisis that we is, and why the third cause of death amongst the black man community is suicide. Ooh-wee. Between the ages of what? 14 to 25. This is serious stuff, y'all. This is serious stuff that's going on here. Our brothers and our sisters need help. What are we going to do? Are you responsible? Do you have responsibility? Or are you able or have the ability to respond to the mental health crisis that's going on amongst the black community? Do you have the ability to be able to respond? Responsibility, responsibility. Do you have the ability to respond to the mental health crisis, physical health crisis, spiritual health crisis that's going on amongst the so-called black community, amongst the Hebraic African community, or the indigenous African community? I say indigenous now because a lot of people that's, going back to their Native American heritage has been giving me a whole lot of hell lately. So I'm like, look, I throw that in there too. Even though if you travel your black self back from there, you still coming from Africa. You just came here before Christopher Columbus found it, but you still come from the Fertile Crescent of Nile Valley. See that? It's getting deep. All right, let's get it. And that's the reason why we need to start building councils, leadership, real leadership, with the elders are not jealous of us and trying to, it's the craziest, it's the weirdest ass relationship with the elders. But I got a whole presentation on how the elders became the way they have too, how the older generation of men have became the men that they are, and that have this very jealous streak in them psychologically. I have a whole presentation talking about how that was created in them as well. I do. All right, let's do it. Let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. All right, so we just talked about how they let us go. The moment they let us go, They created slave catchers. Right after they created slave catchers, the slave catchers became policemen and created police precincts. Now they got public school systems to start teaching us how to man they new technology, because now it's not physical labor inside the fields. Now it's physical labors inside the shops, inside the industrial plants, inside the factories. That's where the slaves moved to. They moved to factories, right? Now check this out. Now we start seeing in 1891, the federal prison was created. Now we starting to see prison institutes straight created. In 1891, the government established federal prison systems. It's what would start the school to prison pipeline. So now we got the school to prison pipeline, because remember, in the late 1860s, public schools was created. Then it's where the special education program started coming in at as well. So now we starting to see that they're finna start funneling us back to prison, because they was paying too much for us being in the factory. See, they took us to school and then we went to the factories and we straight started dominating the whole factory. They're like, hold on, these niggas taking all of our money. You know what I'm saying? We was living super well off. Whole fam, we was taking care of 16 member family households off of one wage, because the factories was giving us that money. We was working sun up to sundown. So they start seeing how it was bringing the black family structure together. So they had to break that shit. And guess what they created? The federal prison system. And the federal prison system was what was going to fund the School to Prison Pipeline Act. So the School to Prison Pipeline Act is to create all these different programs to make you dumb and dumber. And you go into these programs because they was already going to de-industrialize us, and then leave you out with the guns, with the dope, and with all these other different things. Or they leave you to be a stabber or a robber inside the neighborhood, and they'll get your black butt from school and take you to the prison. School to Prison Pipeline, they're prepping you for prison, y'all. I got a whole lesson on that as well. It says in 1989, Congress passed the Three Prisons Act. It says, which created the federal prison system. It allowed the first 3 federal prisons to open: USP Leavenworth, USP McNeil Island, and USP Atlanta. And Atlanta is very deep because they systematically attacked Atlanta, New York, San Francisco, California, and St. Louis simultaneously at the same time, y'all. And they did the same thing when they created AIDS and all of that. They attacked all these 4 cities at the same time. You have to ask yourself why. Why St. Louis? Why Atlanta? Why San Francisco? And why New York? Why are they attacking it the way they're attacking it? It says under oversight from the Department of Justice, Google how many blacks was in these prisons at the time and their ages. It will blow your mind. Their main targets was black men. Now, I want y'all to, when y'all get time, write this in y'all notes. I want y'all to Google this time from 1891 to the mid 1900s, how many blacks was in the federal prison systems. It will blow y'all mind. The ages were so young, they were snatching these little black boys out of school, locking them up. School to prison pipeline. And you wonder why the black man is mentally ill. Look at what's going on. Then in 1916, we talking about Planned Parenthood created. So not only that, they're attacking the black man's seed that he put into the black woman. 1916 in Brownsville, New York, Planned Parenthood was started. This would turn out to be one of the biggest murdering abortion of black infants and embryos of all times. Millions of black babies have been aborted since this slaughterhouse called Planned Parenthood was founded. Their main targets was the black man's children. They're still attacking us on all levels. All levels. Then they started passing laws in the late 1900s where the black man couldn't even tell his baby mama no. She had a right to just go and get his baby taken out. Depopulation control. And you wonder what's wrong with the mind of black men. I'm trying to show you, black man, it's not your fault. It is not your fault. Black woman, it's not your fault. Goddess, it's not your fault. God, is not your fault. This is an environment, a matrix that was created for us that's having us acting the way we act. It's called behavior disruptor chemicals that they're putting in your food, that they're putting in all of your radio stations, your music, your television, your water, your soaps, your hygiene products, your cleaning products. This is systematic racism, y'all. Y'all can't see what's going on? And these things are changing your psychological imprints. These things are changing your psychological outputs here in this environment. Then in 1933, public housing was created. See that? You see how they setting up the environment? You see how they setting up the stage for us? Is y'all seeing this? Let me look at y'all for a minute. Do y'all see how this is being set? Do y'all see the stage and the matrix being created? If y'all see what I'm talking about so far, type in some nines. That's right, gender bending chemicals. That's right, Christy. Do y'all see it? Y'all see how they setting the stage? Yes, this is most definitely federal. This is state, this is federal, this is everything. This is federations. The United Nations came together to put us down worldwide because y'all know Negroes are spread it to the four corners of the earth. Not only the indigenous in America, not only the indigenous to African soil, not only the ones in Australia, they trying to kill niggas worldwide. Depopulation control. And they do it through mental warfare, chemical warfare, food warfare, germ warfare, viral warfare. We are at war. When is you going to wake up and see it? We're at war. And they are winning. Look at how we're killing ourselves. We're falling on our own swords, and we have no reason to be falling on our own swords. Change it back. Let's go back to it. Let's go back to it. I know we ain't gonna be able to get to this whole lesson today. I got so many more slides to go through. Let's get back to it. All right. Here goes more. In 1933, the public housing created. It says the Congress in 1933 introduced the public housing in trial form as a part of the Public Works Bill. Peep these dates. Public Works Bill in the U.S. Housing Act of 1937 set up a permanent program to still exist today. Their main targets was black men. So what they did was they started creating public houses, and now they finna de-industrialize the black man. So now, since the black man was providing for the household, his family structure was together. He was bringing food in, right husbandry. He was, protecting the household, working in the factories. They said, you know what? Let's de-industrialize this place. Let's take out all the factories. Let's make sure we take out the school programmings and teaching them trades and stuff like that. We're going to fund dope. CIA going to come put cocaine and heroin in the streets. We're going to have the CIA and the FBI drop off guns in the community. We're going to build liquor stores on each corner. We're going to build Chinese food places. Anything that's not a part of their culture that's going to destruct them and keep them distracted from who they truly are. We're going to set this up in the neighborhoods, and we're going to watch the black population fall. And when they fall and that black man get locked up from the school to prison pipeline, the woman is not going to be able to fend for her house no more and to take care of her children no more. So then she'll come running to us, and we'll be able to provide her public housing. This is where you get Uncle Sam from, a white daddy from. Uncle Sam come from that. He became the black woman's uncle, and he literally created her to be a independent woman in an illusionary state. It's an illusion. You're not independent, woman. He done taught her this. You see that? And it started in slavery when he was breaking the buck and he was breaking the characteristics and he was breaking the spirit of that black male or that alpha male in front of that woman and creating a beta male, bringing him to his beta state. Beating all the theta out of him, all of the delta out of him, beating all of the alpha out of him and creating beta males. And this is where you get the terminology beta rats from. Look this shit up, beta rats, where they experiment on the rats first, then they experiment on the chimpanzee, then they experiment on you, black man, black woman. Look it up. Y'all think I'm lying? Then we got 1920s welfare program. The government enacted a series of welfare programs. Mind you, they stole this from the Black Panthers, based mainly on European models to provide medical cure and financial support. So now this is where vaccines, I think I said that word. I hope they do not knock me off. Shit. This is where you get the shots from. This is where shots started really, damn, I hate that I said that. I know they're gonna flag my shit. This is where you get the shots from, where they started, inoculating us and trying to literally inject us with all of these different foreign biochemical chemicals to kill us off through the V Nation programming that they doing right now. Make sure you up on your shots. Make sure when the baby come out, we give them 3. At 3 months, we give them 3 more. Then we're going to give them a booster. So in order for them to do that, they had to roll out the welfare programs, and they had to use it based off of European models to provide you medical care and financial support. Through the medical care is how they had you up to date on all your shock records, how they had you up to date on all your experimental practices when they used to bring you in and hit your knee with the hammer to see, man, all this type of weird ass shit shit that they've been doing since the hospitals or since the slave quarters. They did all of this to actually enforce the inoculations. It says this then swept through the black communities like the plague. Black women were allowed government assistance, money and housing, and etc. only if the black man was outcast from the household. And this shows you where they used to do rounds, y'all, in public housing. Rounds went into play where each month you used to have somebody assigned to you, and based off the assignment, they used to come by your house and they used to actually check your crib to see if a black man was there. And if he wasn't there, they used to check your closet there, check under your bed to make sure there wasn't no working boots and stuff like that inside of the household. You see that? Literally, so they used to send your social worker to your house to check to make sure the black man was not there enforcing the family structure. And if he was there, your ass would be fined. You will own the government back everything. You will owe the government back everything that has been assisting you in, and like your TANF and your food stamps. You have to pay that back, and then they'd make you pay it back by putting the black man on child support if he was found in the house. And mind you, child support was not created for the black man. Child support was created for rich, wealthy Caucasians because they used to marry their women and they used to marry their women and then go have sex with all other women and create babies and act like the babies wasn't there. So what the government did was create this child support to actually hold them accountable for making all the babies. And then they found a way to implement this in this Rights of Act law in 1931 to put it on the black man. And then in 1933, they enforced it through the public housing program. We are seeing the straight destruction of a black family. We are seeing the creation of mental illnesses of black men, y'all. We are witnessing this right now, going by date to date, y'all. How this all was created. You see that? Let's get back to it. If y'all get what I'm saying so far, type in some nines. We'll keep it pushing. Yeah, this is very awful, God. It's very awful. And it gets worse, y'all. It gets worse. It gets worse. And my bad, family, if they take this off because I said the V word, they be on my ass, y'all. They monitoring me like I'm over here talking about kill the, you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm talking about starting a war or something. It's already war been started on us. So if this get taken down, y'all, my bad. I did save it. I try to put it up somewhere else, but I did say that word and they be on me, man. All right, so check this out. So let me share it again with y'all. I'm glad y'all getting this. All right, so now we're going from the welfare programs. Let's keep it pushing. And I literally just threw this together today, y'all. It's not all together, so you're going to see dates out of whack a little bit, but it's all good. Y'all get the gist of what I'm saying. And at the seminar, we're going to go deep into stuff like this as well. Remember, the seminar is on the 26th, February 26th in Atlanta, Georgia at the Epic Center, y'all. The link is still up for those who need to buy food plates. All the tickets is sold out, but if you want to buy food while you're there, we're going to be there for a long time, y'all. You want to eat and you want to drink, make sure that you get on there and you buy your food tickets if you already purchased a ticket to be in the building. All right, then we see in 1950s, the emasculation of the black man. The massive emasculation of the black man started. Feminization of the black man through chemical warfare, foods, high levels of atrazine and of estrogen in your bottled water, subconscious programming, chemical sterilization of the sperm cells, and much more. Now, once we get to the emasculation point, they done demasculized us. They done brought us back to the X chromosome. It took them years. It took them from 1865 all the way into 1960, for real, late 1960, to bring us all the way back to that X chromosome. You see that? Because we was still deep into the culture. A lot of our knowledge was still in during the slavery days. That's why you hear Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. We still was calling on Yahweh, Kumbaya. We was talking about wading in the water. Who was them children dressed in white? Wade in the water. Must be the children of the Israelites. Wade in the water. So we still had a lot of our information. We still have a lot of our unbiblical ancestral information and culture within us. You see that? So we still was doing rites of passage during slavery. We was braiding slave routes through our heads. We still doing our spiritual rituals, our dances. We were still very, very connected to that Y chromosome, that Y gene. It took them 100 years to wipe that Y gene up out of us, to emasculate us, and to bring us back into that X chromosome. And then that's when men started being real feminine and not being able to control their emotions. And this is where you start leading up to what we finna break into, where you start seeing rap music, hip hop is formed, the crack epic, the heroin epidemic, the Russians dropping off Russian AK-47. I mean, there's all types of crazy stuff right after that. You see what I'm saying? So this was the birth of man becoming feminine mentally. See, we had it. We had strong men back then. We really did. But it took them 100 years to break us. And it worked. Just look at today's era right now that me and a couple other brothers are trying to bring back, or what the Nation of Islam is trying to bring back, that masculine chromosome, trying to really bring back that manhood, that rites of passage that a lot of different brothers are trying to install back into us, because we have lost it as a collective consciousness of African warriors, African scientists, African elders, African chiefs, African locksmiths, whatever you want to call anybody that make up a culture. We done lost that. Our Y chromosome, that Y gene, the SRY gene, have been deteriorated in us mentally, spiritually. So now you see us acting like the woman in the household, and you see the roles are being reversed, and the woman is acting like the man because she is no longer having her ovaries suppress the SRY gene and stopping herself from becoming masculine. And now she's becoming masculine. And all of this is a tool and a weapon by white supremacists. All of it is. But we can track it all back to embryonic stages of development. And for those that are climbing in, if y'all saying like, Yaki, you sound crazy right now, just go back to the beginning of the video, and I showed how it takes something supernatural, or it takes an extra gene for the female embryo to become a male embryo, and how all embryos start off aquatic females, and then at the 6th week, or what we call the 42nd day, 42, which means my aunt means the balance of law. Once that female becomes balanced, then you see the Y, or the Yahweh chromosome, actually attaches itself, that Yahweh gene, the SRY gene, attaches itself to the X gene, the XX gene, and then we see the male is born, or the male is birthed from that. The male is mutated into a male from a female. But notice it had to be something supernatural, something extra had to be added to the boy for the boy to become a male, if you get what I mean. And it's the same thing that have to happen spiritual wise and psychological wise for boys and for males to become men. All right, let's get back to it. Let me blow this back up. Shouts out to everybody that's in the building. Shouts out to everybody that's in the building. All right, so now we in 1950s, and we talking about that. Now let's get into it. So now this is where it gets very deep at, because right after this, right after they feminized us, right after they created the police force, the slave masters became police, FBI agents, right after the federal prison was created, and the public school systems were created, then the school and prison pipeline was created, and they created all the factories, and we started working in the factories and actually gathering our intellect, gathering our culture back. They like, oh, hell no, we got to break this up. What they did was, through the Civil Rights Act, let me just read it. Check this out, y'all. It says, the bleak 30 years from black men, economic progress was slim in urban America. It says, how significant was the economic progress of African Americans men in the U.S. between 1970 and 2000? The common perception is that the inequality between races decreased in 1954. The Supreme Court's decisions in the famous Brown versus Board of Education case proclaimed racial segregation of the public schools unconstitutional. It says the ruling eventually paved the way for the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlawed racial segregation in schools and in the workplace among the provinces. So now we see that they're letting us into the schools, in the workplace, right? So you don't see no separation. So then this is when you're going to start seeing the de-industrialization, because we started taking all of their money, y'all. Literally. So then in 1965, you see the de-industrialization of the black communities. All of the factories used to be in our communities. Remember, a lot of us didn't even have cars back then. Our wives used to give us an apple, pack up our lunchbox, make us a peanut butter jelly sandwich. We'd put on our hard hat and put on our work boots, and we'd walk around the corner to the factory. That's what our OGs was doing. You know what I'm saying? They was walking to work because the factories was built inside of the black neighborhoods. Then all of a sudden they started burning and tearing them all down. And these factories that they started tearing down, since a lot of them became chemical complants, because a lot of these was chemical factories. And that's why a lot of black people are around chemical complants and getting cancer and stuff. Y'all don't even know that a lot of these complants are factories that's giving you cancer from the fumes that they're yielding forth. Actually used to be the factories that kept our whole household together in the 1960s. You see that? Then they knocked them all down and burnt them down. They didn't plug up some of the vessels, the sewage lines. They didn't actually cut them off and plug them up right. So a lot of these things are emitting certain types of frequencies and radioactive waste, and it's giving the black community cancer, y'all. I mean, look, this is all by design, y'all. It's all by design. Y'all think I'm lying? Look everything up to everything I'm saying. Just look it up. Just look it up. Look it up. Just ask your elders, ask your OGs. You know what I'm saying? You used to have your bag of sandwich. You used to have that little hard ass. Our OGs used to have that hard ass lunchbox made out of cans. You used to ding 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 on it, and they used to have a lunch. They used to have a Lunchable in there. They used to have they leftovers from last night when that black goddess was cooking over that stove, spilling her heart out over that stove. This is, you know what I'm saying? It's bringing me back to different timelines I lived in, different lives I lived in, and you know they used to have they apple juice, they soda pop, and they used to put on a hard hat, put on them boots with them raggedy jeans, and they used to be proud to walk to work because they was taking care of their family. They was the husband and they was the man of the household, taking care of their family and rearing their seeds, rearing their children up the right way. But you know, we are not the majority. I know they think that, I mean, the minority. I know that they like to tell us that we're the minority, but we actually the majority, especially when you talk about us globally, worldwide. I mean, we are the majority. So when you got a lot of blacks that was in slavery picking cotton fields, and now generations come and we learn all these skills and trades that y'all taught us in public schools to be more slaves to work for y'all, it backfired because y'all gave us all them damn jobs in the factories, and we started taking over the factories, and the white economy was starting to lose itself. So they had to de-industrialize us to give these jobs back to white folk. And that's what happened. And this is where the hood started. This is where ghettos was created. This is where high-rising projects was created. This is where black-on-black crime was created. Before this time, 1965, you had the Irish was the gangsters. They was going around stealing and selling illegal alcohol and raping little white boys and girls on the corners. It was thousands of white girls on the streets of Chicago, y'all. Literally on the streets of Chicago between the ages of 14 and 18, giving their bodies up to other Italian men. This is where the Italian mafia and the Italian mob come from. They were the gangsters and they were the Luciano thugs, and this is where you get thuggy and stuff like that. They were selling tobacco and firearms, and you know, Italian mobs is running around Chicago and New York and Missouri killing themselves, and because what they did was they checked the blood and the DNA of Irishmen, and Irishmen had a little bit of black and a little bit of melanin in their DNA, so they didn't consider them black. They didn't pass that law to consider them black until the 70s, y'all. So until then, they was the thugs, y'all, out there not washing their ass, killing each other, shooting their wives, impregnating the world, and I mean going around robbing, looting, killing, stealing. They even went to war. The Irish even had a civil war with America because of that. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll start seeing during the industrialization of black people, they end up giving the Irishmen all of the police jobs. They end up giving the Jewish man all of the in-office and court jobs. And then, you know, they gave the Polish and all of them, they gave them the fireman job. So now when you look at the firemen, you'll see their ethnicity. You be like, dang, okay, you was not considered black at one point. Then you start looking at the Jews, you be like, dang, well, the fake, y'all wasn't considered white at one point either. And then you start looking at the Irishmen, they was considered straight thugs, y'all. And then all of them, once the bill passed, they gave them all of the different rights and acts to come into the industry and take over them industries. And that's when you start seeing the flipping of the black community from us coming post-slavery to building our households back up, even though we still was mentally enslaved. But our households were straight together and we was actually bringing back the youth. Then they de-industrialized us, bro. They took the traits out. They took the trades out of the school. You used to go to school and learn how to be a carpenter. Used to go to school and learn how to work on mechanics, works on your car. You can't do none of that in school now. We even have something out here called Vatarock. We have something on the west side that you used to go to. I can't think of the name of that, where you can go and learn a trade. You didn't have to get a college degree. You can straight go and get a trade, and that will be the money that you need to sustain your family until you figured out what else you wanted to do. So they systematically took these things up out of the school system and up out of the communities, and then they started implementing their drugs and they drug paraphernalia, they high-rising projects, and they start dropping off guns and stuff, and then, you know, sit back and let the rats go to war. It's all a rat experiment. You sit back and you just let the rats go to war with each other, and that's what black on black genocide and black on black violence come from. You know, black on black genocide and black on black violence was not created by black people. This was created by white supremacists. Literally, it was. So yeah, no more shop class, none of that. They took all this out. This is ranking tech. All of this was created, y'all. And this is why we're so mentally ill, because transgenerational epigenetic inheritance. We done seen and experienced all these things, whether you want to admit the fact or not. You know, transgenerational epigenetic inheritance explains that we experience these things. It's in our DNA. It's in our reincarnated cells, whether you want to call it incarnated self or reincarnated self. I don't care. Tomato, tomato. When that ancestral line and these baddies are passed down, we're taking past experiences from the ancestral line and from ourselves, and we're passing it down to ourselves. Then we passing it to our children, which is nothing but ourselves again, and then we keep reliving the same experience. So now we have to break the generational curses through transgenerational epigenetic inheritance, and we have to bring in new doctrine. We have to bring in new cultural alliances. We have to bring in a whole new wave of consciousness in order for us to escape this traumatic experience of reality that we in. All right, let me turn it back real quick. All right, y'all, let's keep it going. So look, the de-industrialization among individuals, economies, de-industrialization started in different times and have progressed in varying speeds. It started earliest in the United States, told y'all, with the share of manufacturing employment falling from a peak of 28% peep the dates, 1965, to only 16% in 1994. But peep the dates, y'all. It's all in the dates. They can't hide it no more. It's all in the dates. Then you start seeing black factory workers profoundly and disproportionately felt the pain of job losses, like we always do. Then you start seeing from 1965 to 1968, boom, another plot came. We already inside the neighborhoods. They got the high rises up. Remember, we got the feminization of the black man. We got the welfare going on. We got WIC. We got all these things happening, right? Then, you know, we got the dope being dropped off in the hood by the CIA. We got the utopia experiment where they put us in high rises and stuff like that. And the black man is out of the household, and they will not let the black man be in the household. So we got black men out of the household that can't be in the household just for their families to survive. You know that, because if they got caught in the household, then, you know, the woman lost her rights to even get the TANF from the government and to stay in the house to protect the children. So in order for the black man to protect his family, he had to leave his family. As fucked up as that sound, in order for him to protect his family, to make sure his family was secure, make sure his family had food on the table, and make sure that the children was good and the mother was good, he couldn't be caught in the household. Then you fast forward 15 years later, you got the creation of gangster rap, hip hop. And this is going to take a very, very traumatic toll on the minds of them very black men that was separated from their mothers, separated from their wives, separated from their children, and is now homeless on the streets and can't go back home, because that will actually deprive their wife and their children of households, of food, and things like that. So then you got the gangster rap era, which kicked off in early 1980. All right, it says from other uses of gangster rap, it says gangster rap, it says G rap or reality rap is what it used to be called. It says from the rapper Cool G Rap, from gangster rap to gangster rap, initially called reality rap, emerged in the mid to late 1980s as a controversial hip hop subgenre whose lyrics inserted the culture, man, and values typical of American street gangs and street hustlers. So this when you start seeing, during this process, we had a lot of gangs being formed, and these gangs was not formed to be bad. When you start see Tookie Williams and you see Larry Hoover, these are gangs that was created to actually protect the neighborhood. But then you had sleeper cells and ops that come in through the CIA and come in through the FBI to disintegrate the neighborhood, because they formed it to keep police out of their neighborhood and to keep other, members from coming and stealing from the neighborhood. That's where gangs really come from. If you really look at, Bloods, brotherly love over our depression, and then Crips, community revolution in progress. These, you start looking at gangster disciples, black disciples and Peace Stones, All Might. You start looking at, these were actually groups created to protect the neighborhoods. It actually started off like the Panthers. They started off the same way, but then they got infiltrated, by the CIA and by the government, or sleeper cells came in, or they created the environment in such a way where we had to act like savages in order to take care of ourselves and to fend for ourselves. So even black gang violence is, and then notice the movie Colors come out in 1980. Like, just notice how it all roll in, y'all. This shit was planned. It was predicted. It's not our fault. This was put inside of our mental. This was put inside of our heads. And we're just acting it out. Straight up. Straight up, y'all. I don't know what else to even tell y'all. So now you see gangster rap coming in, and now you got Eazy-E, you got Snoop Dogg, you got G-Funk, you got NWA, fuck the police. You got all, you know what I'm saying? You got everybody. Then you got the Tupac era. So you got people that's just, talking about degrading black women. You got brothers talking about killing other brothers, selling crack cocaine. You talking about, we got so much negativity coming from the environment that they're creating from us, that our minds is being turned inside out, and we are literally being manipulated through our behavior genes by what's coming in through the inputs of our cerebral cortex. So now we're starting to act like the rappers. We're starting to act like what they have inputted in the environment for us to do. And this is what really broke up the black family. The rap, the music, y'all. This was like the cherry on top, y'all. Literally, this was the cherry on top. And then right in that same time, once they signed the deal, hip hop changed to gangster rap. Then we got the crack epidemic. The crack epidemic is between 1980s and 1900s. Crack epidemic in the United States. The crack epidemic is a surge of crack cocaine use in major cities across the United States, predominantly in the late 1980s and 1990s. You see that? And it's talking about effect on African American, if you can read down. So now we already mentally messed up. Now we on opioids, and now we on really psychological behavior disorders because we taking drugs. And now we're finding a way to escape our current reality that we in. So now we already messed up through psychological warfare. Now they're merging chemical warfare with psychological warfare. And this is where you see the true destruction of a black family and the true inferiority complex in the mental illness of black men. Then right after that, in 1999 to 2019, you got the opioid heroin epidemic, and it's always high amongst who? So-called African American Negroes. You see everything we're going through psychologically, and this is the reason why we are killing ourselves and killing women, and then taking ourselves out and leaving our children here to fend for themselves. And then that's part one. Part two, we're going to get into spirituality, mental, emotional, and physical health, showing how to bring in the rites of passage. Matter of fact, let me show y'all these things real quick. So that was the end of this lesson, but I do want to show y'all something real fast. You know what I'm saying? I do want to show y'all this real fast. Where did I put them at? Let me move my screen around. I put them somewhere. Hold on, family. Hold on, my family. Can y'all see me? Can y'all see me real good, fam? If you can see me and if you can hear me, type in some nines. If you can see me and hear me, type in some 9s. Okay, so it ain't those. Hold on, I'm trying to. Okay, good. All right, let me find this real quick. I want to show y'all something. Here they go, right here. I just want to show y'all this because this is going to be in part 2. Part 2 going to be super dope. I mean, super dope, y'all. So this just shows you how important the rites of passage is, y'all. All right, it says rites of passage have value for both the individual and the community. See that? Rites of passage is to build you up individually as a collective whole in community, though. Ceremonies that mark the stages of life provide clear definitions of society's expectations of the individual, and they give him or her a sense of identity and belonging. And that's why you see, you think that the black man is social because you see him rapping, you see him everywhere, you see him digging down women, you see him loud, flashing money and guns on television and on social media. No, the black man is the most antisocial person ever. He do not how to act socially. He don't know how to act socially. That's why he kills socially. He steal socially. He do drugs socially. He drink his liver to death socially. If you really look at what antisocial people do, they do stuff like that. They go against the people that's in a society. And who is in your society is the neighborhood you live in, and you stay next to people that look just like you. And you kill them, you murder them, you rob them, you rape them, you steal from them, you bicker with them. That we're the most antisocial species on planet Earth. But that's because we haven't been taught the rites of passage. Yes, GD, growth development. Most definitely. You see that? And it's all, and then Larry, if you look at that literature from Larry Hoover, it's some real deep literature. That literature literally, will expand your mind. And that's why they still got him locked up right now. Because what he was trying to do was free the black minds, man. It says the 5 rites of birth, adulthood, marriage, eldership, and ancestorship. See, this is what we've been missing in the community, y'all. See that? The 5 rites to birth, it's a way to birth. There's a ceremony and way to adulthood called the rites of passage, to even marriage, eldership. You see how these elders is acting the way that they acting? And to ancestorships. The 5 rites briefly described below represents a integrate intention system. I think I said that right. That has given indigenous African cultures, notice what it says, indigenous African cultures, the stability and longevity to provide a model of consistency and intergenerational unity, y'all. This is how important the rites of passage is. And that's why we have to start implementing these things, implementing culture, rewriting culture, and reprogramming ourselves to truly, truly live, to be our true selves and finding our identity, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And I think that'll really, really help us. Me personally, I want to start a hotline. So if you interested in starting this hotline with me, I pay for the services. I just need people to be on the phone that have a certain type of backgrounds where they used to talking people out of stuff and speaking sense into people. If you down with that, let's create a hotline, y'all. Like for real, I'll pay for it. I just need a team to help me create it. Hit me up at questions@yakiawaken.com, and let's come together with people, young black boys and young black girls that having suicidal thoughts, are thinking about murdering they significant other, or murdering them, they mother, or murdering somebody else. They can call the hotline, and we can start implementing rites of passage to them. We can start speaking affirmations to them and over them, or we can give them scenarios on how to fix the problem that they're in. That's what a culture is for. A culture is a people that learn education to solve problems and issues amongst their community. So that's how we're going to rebuild culture. So if you're interested in that, this is straight from off the dome. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to commit to it. I won't be the one on the phone, but I will set everything up and I'll pay for everything, especially if we got some people that got backgrounds and talking to people. Man, that'd be beautiful. Hit me up at questions@yakiawaken.com, and we can truly, truly make that happen, family. The email is right at the bottom of my screen, y'all. questions@yakiawaken.com. It's just time to start putting in the work and truly, truly giving back to our people. All right. That's what I really want to do. That was part 1. If y'all got some understanding, overstanding, and understanding of part 1, part 2 is how we going to actually fix it, y'all. And that's why y'all seen that last slide of the circles, getting into the 5 principles and the 5 rights, spirituality, mentality. I mean, it's some deep stuff, y'all. I'm losing my voice. I've been talking so much. Let me get some apple juice. Hold on, y'all. All praises. Okay. All right, yep. So just hit me up in the email. I'm gonna be live tomorrow too, going over questions. I got all the questions I got to. So if y'all got any questions y'all want to answer, any health questions and stuff like that, natural healing questions, make sure y'all hit me up at questions at yakiawaken.com. I need y'all print them out, and I'll be reading them tomorrow as well. All right, with that being said, I love y'all. I'm finna get up out of here. So peace, love, light, and healing to y'all. I love y'all indeed and in truth. We have to start standing in the gap for each other. We have to take our minds back, take our cultures back, find our true identity of and who we truly are. And we have to rebuild and reconstruct our culture. I'm all for it. The Risen Black Alliance Conference Tour kickoff February the 26th in Atlanta, Georgia at the Epicenter. For any of those that need herbs, healing herbs, we are responsible for healing many diseases. A lot of them, they say they can't be cured or can't be reversed, and we are known for reversing them. Hit us up at www.yakiawaken.com, YAHKIAWAKENED, and get your healing herbs, y'all. I love y'all. Indeed and in truth, I give y'all my all the time, and I just hope you give your all to your people all the time too. If we all do our part and do it 110%, we're going to look up one day and we're going to be free mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. All right, black gods and goddesses, peace. Peace, my African brothers and sisters. Peace out. Peace to the gods. Peace to the earth.